Alright, guys. The almighty Steven.
Back in this
He's
joint.
finally back.
After many months.
It's been quite some time, my guy. What just bullshittery do you have for us today, man?
We're going with the deck I'm currently playing, which is Invoked Shaddolls.
Ooh.
So it has been a blast. I've played like literally 20 decks since the last time I've been on the channel. So we got decks for days we can go over.
Yeah, it's been quite some time.
Yeah.
Life picks up, sadly.
That's true. Been super busy.
All right, man. I'll just take it away.
All right, so we'll start with the main deck. So, starting with our Invoked engine, we play 3 Alistair, best normal summon in the game.
Hell yeah.
And then, along with that, we play 3 Meltdown.
Nah, that's really the best normal summon right there.
Yeah, for real, yeah. 3 extra Alistairs. Then we play 2 Invocations. So, obviously, you need that.
Quick question. So, the Invocations, what's your thoughts? Because I know there's people who, I think 2 is the way to go. Then there's some people who argue, like, 3.
In my opinion, 2 is fine. The only way it's going to hurt you is if you somehow get them both banished, or, like, you can't get an Alistair banished, which should be impossible, because there's plenty of ways to do that with this deck. And, yeah, that's the only way it's going to hurt you. I've never needed a 3rd, so... Yeah, I think 2 is the way to go, especially just because how searchable it is, and I've even opened 2 a bunch of times, so... And, with the Invoke deck curse, you're always drawing Invocation, so that's why Ash is pointless against this deck. So, yeah, that's going to wrap it up for the Invoked engine.
I remember, like, for a while, people would do, like, Pot Desires, like, 3 of those.
Then you would play 3 Invocation, for
but
sure.
At the same time, I still saw people that just chose to play at 3, so I just wanted your thoughts on that.
Yeah, for sure. If you're playing Desires at 3, but I don't think Desires is the way to go currently with the way this deck is and the current meta. So for the Shaddoll package, we play 2 Windy, which is one of the better ones. It's a wind attribute, so it works with the Invoked Raging if you have to, which comes up a lot, and we'll go over that in the extra deck. You could play 3, but I chose to play more techs, so I ended up cutting 1, because... Unfortunately, in Modern Yu-Gi-Oh!, you need like 27 techs to be competitive. So
you got the spice with this, man?
Not really spice, just a toolbox of cards that we can use to help when they work really well with the engine. Then we play 2 Squamata, which is super good. That's definitely one of the better ones, so you play 2. So all the better ones we're playing at 2. So it's going to be Windy, Squamata, and then 2 Hedgehog. Hedgehog is probably the best one, because with the flip effect, you can search a Shaddoll spell or trap, which is, I mean, if your opponent doesn't start stopping some of that stuff, you're just going to get way ahead on them. And, everything's, like, you can set this off Windy, and then you can use Resch to flip it, and get your free Schism or whatever, like a Shaddoll Fusion, any Shaddoll you need, so it's pretty lit. Then we play the one-of Shaddolls. We play Ariel, probably the best one-of, because when it's sent to the grave, it can just banish 3 from either graveyard, so that can hurt a ton of decks.
Oh, yeah.
So, for sure, yeah. And then this is one of the ways you can banish your Alistair. If you somehow get trapped with, like... I don't see how it would ever happen, but if you couldn't get your Invocation back, this could help with that. And you can split it up. They all 3 don't have to be from the same graveyard, so...
Okay. And
then also, the flip effect... it can summon when you're banished at all monsters. So with Schism, you're going to banish your stuff, and Invocation, you're going to banish your stuff. So it helps to recycle. This one, you can honestly play it too, but I think it's fine at 1. I've never needed another.
So, quick question. Have you ever, like, banished a window and then brought it back?
Yes. Yeah, plenty of times. Yeah.
Get like double window?
Yeah, and also you can bring back Construct super easy, which, everyone knows about that. The Construct spam. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, bringing back Construct has come up with it. It's a really good card. And then we play the 1 Beast, which is draw power, and it's a beater. So 1700 defense, 2200 attack. You can, obviously the draw power is really good. If the flip effect is you draw 2 and then discard 1, and then when it's sent to grave, it's just a free draw.
I mean, for the stats it's got, it's pretty solid, honestly.
Yeah, for real. And I saw somebody use they were playing a mirror match, and they went into the extra deck going first, which is bad because then it makes Shaddoll Fusion live. So they actually tributed their extra deck monster to set Beast, so that way their opponent wasn't able to use their Shaddoll Fusion to the full potential. Because Shaddoll Fusion, if they control an extra deck monster, you can fuse from the deck, which is so much advantage with this. You know, you got 40 cards to play with. And then finally, Shaddoll Dragon, which is really, really good. If your Schism gets negated but it's stuck on field, you can pop your own Schism, and you can use it for back row removal. If your opponent has some bullshit on the back row that's jamming up your place, you can fuse with Shaddoll Dragon, and it'll get rid of the back row. So, yeah, it's a really good one. And then the Shaddoll spells, the best one that we just talked about, Shaddoll Fusion. If your opponent goes into the extra deck, you can just fuse from deck. Really good. So, yeah, you got to have that. And then if you have like a Meltdown up with any of the fusion spells, it's just they can't do anything, and they also can't respond to like effects that the monsters you fuse with. So if you like fuse with 2 Shaddolls, they won't be able to respond to the Shaddoll you summon, and then they won't be able to respond to the graveyard effects of the Shaddolls, which is super good. That's why people want Meltdown banned so bad.
You know, it'd be dope.
What's that?
If Shaddoll Fusion got an ulti print.
That would be
You
insane.
can't deny that'd be a beautiful ulti.
I wouldn't buy it because I ain't buying no damn ultis.
It'd be beautiful though, man.
It would be awesome for sure. Yeah, I think the secrets look really good as well.
I might check see if it has an ulti in the OCG. I might pick some up if that's a thing.
It probably does. They have a lot of cool stuff we don't have.
Oh yeah.
And then the last Shaddoll Fusion spell is El Shaddoll Fusion. So I only play this one at 2 because I want to stay at 40, and this is the weakest one. But however, it's still really, really good because it's a quick play. So you can go into battle and you can have like a full field, and then you can start attacking, and then you play Shaddoll Fusion, fuse 2 monsters, attack again. That's like the main use for it, and so you just get tons of power with that. And then since it's obviously a quick play, you can do it on your opponent's turn, so you can even like make a Winda or like a Construct or whatever you needed, or an Aqua even, and negate one of their cards on field. So doing it on your opponent's turn is really busted.
All right.
And then we play 2 traps, which is Shaddoll Schism, which is insane. Everyone knows what this card does by now. You can banish monsters from your field or grave to fusion summon on your opponent's turn.
I hate it.
Yeah, it's so good. It is so good. But you only need 1 because it's extremely searchable. And you also want to have it live. So if you open it and you can't get Shaddolls engraved, it's kind of dead. But Shaddoll Schism is insane. Best card in the deck for sure. And then we also play Reschedule Incarnation, which this you're going to use to, it's kind of cheesy way. It's like a Monster Reborn for Shaddolls. So if you already have like a full board and you have like a Shaddoll engraved, like a window or whatever, you can just cheese it back out. It's got to be in defense, but that's fine. And then its other effect, which you're going to be manipulating way more, is you can banish it and a Shaddoll card from your grave, and it will flip one of your Shaddolls face up or face down. But
Ooh.
I always use it for the flip face up because we have all this powerhouse flip effects, and you can just like you can use Windy, summon one face down, then activate that and flip it face up. So you're basically just like manipulating the flip effects with that for sure. That's the main point of it. Okay, so that's it for both engines, the Shaddoll and the Invoked engine. So the rest of the deck is going to be techs.
Alright.
So we got a pile of them. As I said earlier, I believe in having a lot of them. So probably my favorite, well, I don't know about favorite, but there's just so many good ones. It's going to be Gamma, which some people argue like, oh, Gamma's bad, but it's whatever because...
No, Gamma's good.
Yeah, and Driver, of course. Yeah, so what makes Gamma extra good in this is it's almost never a dead card because it's a light target. So even if you open up the Driver and you open up like a Shaddoll and a Fusion, you can start playing because you can make a Construct. And obviously, you know, the interruption with Gamma on their turn, if they activate something, you destroy it, negate it. But Gamma is so good, and like also you can get blown out by these other decks really easy to where you have no, so you can have like a full board and have like a Gamma in hand, and they can just blow you out, and then boom, your Gamma's live again. And the main thing for me is it being a light target. Like I probably use it for that way more than the actual like hand trap effect, but believe me, the hand trap effect still comes up all the time. So then our next tech will be Ash. Arguably one of the best cards out ever. Still super, super, super good. It's better than Droll right now. So in one of the other videos, I think it was my Zodiac Eldritch profile I did on here, I said I like Droll better, but for this format, Ash is super good.
Usually it's if Ash is bad. If Ash is good for the format, Droll's usually the bad one, and it flip flops between the two.
Right. Well, I still side Droll because there's still some decks that's really good.
Yeah.
But the decks that Droll hurts, Ash also hurts. And timing is everything. You stop the right search, it can end their turn for many, many, many decks, even the most powerful decks out. Which...
For people who are like getting into this, just kind of getting into the game, Ash is honestly just the better one all around. More generically, it's gonna hit decks more than Droll can usually.
Yeah, for sure.
But the thing is, though, there's just decks that Droll hits just so much harder.
Yeah, that's another thing. You're right. There's some decks that only add once. Like Eldritch can play around Droll. Like Droll does not matter to Eldritch, and being an Eldritch player also. I love when people draw me. It's like, dude, that was my one ad, so we're not going to do that again, It's so great. And another good thing about Ash is the fire attribute. So we use that for some extra deck shenanigans. Invoked has a really good monster that we can use Ash for. And since it's so popular, your opponent's definitely going to have an Ash in their grave 9 times out of 10. And Invocation you can fuse from their grave as well. So it's just brutal. And then we play another super, super busted card that people cry about, which is Super Poly. Also extremely busted in this deck. You can use it for your own cards. You can use it for one of your cards or one of theirs.
Oh, yeah.
And we even play the Starving Venom, so we can definitely pop them.
How often you get that out, my guy?
Dude, every Wednesday night when we play at the shop, it happens. Like, I would not play Super Poly without Starving Venom. It's just... everything's dark in the game, so, and even if it's not, you can have one of your Shaddolls and you can make it live. You can out a dark monster or a light monster, with the Shaddolls. So it's really, really, really good. You have to play it. If you don't play it in this deck, you're slacking. So this next card, I've kind of had troubles lately with, but in this deck, I've decided it's better. So it's Forbidden Droplet. So, alright, I was playing Eldritch Zombie, and I ended up dropping Forbidden Droplet in that for Infinite Impermanence, because Forbidden Droplet costs resources. This is a better card, but it costs resources, and like in the Eldritch build, or any other deck that you need to conserve everything for, you want to play that instead. But in this deck, Droplets is actually fine, because you're utilizing your graveyard so much with Invocation, and you can manipulate stuff to put it in grave, and then your fusions don't have to be sent by a card effect. So if you send a fusion off of Forbidden Droplet, you still get the effect, which they all grab from the grave, or except for Aqua, he grabs from the deck and then you discard one, which is really good. So yeah, there's that. And Droplet, with all these crazy cards Konami comes out with, Droplet is just so good, because obviously whatever you send they can't respond with. So only bad thing is if you have this, it's great. You send this off and you get it in the grave. But, and even the Schism, if you have to send that in response to something, which usually you won't have that in your hand when you activate Droplet, but, you can just get it out of the grave. So, it's no problem for anything in this deck to be in the grave. Everything just recycles so much. And then the last 3 cards we play are the power one-ofs that all the decks who can play them play. So, it's Foolish Burial, Terraforming, and Called by the Grave.
The Holy Trinity right there.
For real. So Foolish Burial turns on all your Shaddoll effects for free, like Centigrade effects. So if there's ever, if you're ever in a hard spot and you're like, oh man, if I could send Shaddoll Dragon, it'd be great. You can if you have that in your hand, and you still get the effect because it was sent by card effect. So that comes up all the time, and also it can help start some plays. It works with the Invoked package because you're putting stuff in grave. Terraforming, this is your 7th copy of Alistair and 4th copy of Magical Meltdown. So
this man's cheating.
Yeah, for
7
real.
copies of one card.
That's why people cry about the deck, because you're playing Alistair 7 basically with extra steps, but it's still just insane.
I wish Terraforming was back at 3.
I do not.
That was
good
bull
at
crap.
Nah, it's good.
That was
at
fun.
Field spells are just way, way, way too busted, and this is a prime example of why Terraforming should be at 1. And then Called by the Grave, which is at 1 for a reason as well, because if your opponent ashes you and you have that, you basically just win, because you're just going to pop off anyway, and they've already ashed. And then it puts their fire in the grave for the Purgatrio still, if you need to go into that. So it's crazy. And there's just so much stuff it can stop. And it doesn't even have to be a hand trap. It could be if you were playing Eldritch or whatever, like against Eldritch, and you manage to banish one of their golden lords, and then they like slip up and get the other one engraved. Boom! You just call by the grave the other one.
I've done that so much to Gavin. Yeah, and it's not even funny. He was legitimately pissed off at me for like 2 weeks.
I've had it happen to me being an Eldritch player. I've been called by the grave when I was playing the zombie variant, which I still think is really cool, and we're gonna do a profile on that for sure.
Oh hell yeah, man!
But
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, so I was able to get Doom King engraved, and if you guys know Doom King Valordrog, it recycled itself on the standby if there's a field spell out, and I went to activate that on my standby on my not my standby, my opponent's standby. And they freaking called by the grave it and banished it, and it's a one-of that I play, so it hurts so bad. And, like, this is just so many. This is literally a gun right here. Like, this thing is dangerous. It's at 1 for a reason as well. That's
called by the gun.
Yeah, I don't want any of these cards at 3. I'm happy with them at 1, even though I use them. Like, it'd just be a nightmare.
I mean, called by could come back to 3 because Triple Tactics Talent is finally getting the reprint. So.
Yeah, but this is still better. So, I mean,
it is what it is.
Yeah, I think Called By is better, and that shit definitely should stay at 1.
I mean, Called By is definitely better.
Yeah, that shit should stay at 1 for sure. All right, so that wraps it up for the main deck. 40 cards. I'm so sick of playing decks over 40. Like, it's back to 40 for me, and the consistency has definitely helped. I was playing Dragoon as well, but that shit's ass. Don't play that shit in here.
Thank you. You finally listened.
Yeah, well, it's good in some decks, but in this deck, like, you need every card. Like, and I can't tell you how many times I've been, like, backed into a corner, bam, fucking red eyes. Like, bro, what am I supposed to do with that? And then you just scoop.
How many times have I kaiju'd your Dragoon, too?
Yeah. Dragoon loses to kaijus, which luckily not too many people play, but so it doesn't hurt as bad when you get kaiju'd, but it still hurts a lot. So, I mean, kaijus can kill any deck, really, so you just got to be ready for that.
Dude, kaijus are retarded. They're so good.
Yeah, they are really good. All right, so now we'll move to the extra deck. So we'll start with the Shaddolls. 2 construct, super freaking busted. There's another card we play in here, Gravity Controller, which this is nothing I came up with. This is all like very, very common knowledge. Deck's been out forever. But just in case you're new to like the deck, which I mean I'm still pretty new. I've only been playing it for like a month. But you summon this in the extra monster zone, use the effect to dump a card. At the very basic play, you would just dump like Schism. And then since in the extra monster zone, you can link it off for Gravity Controller, which I'll show you. And and when it goes to grave, you can add a Shaddoll spell or trap from grave. So it's like a free card. And it's not once per turn. So playing this online the other day, I had something where I was able to recycle this like 3 times. And my opponent just quit. Man. Yeah, they just quit the game because they're like, oh, it's not once per turn. I'm like, no. And they just backed out because like it was so stupid. Like I just kept adding everything to my hand and really getting a good advantage. So construct's good. Oh, and I mean, how could I forget any monster that is special summon? Is it extra deck or just special summon? Yeah, it's just special summon monster, which is even more insane. It just sends it to the grave. So it's insane, so insane. Like it's a wall, and it can be really hard to get around. Like your opponent has to have some way to like stop it.
Kaiju.
So, yeah, kaiju it for sure. But if it's my turn, that ain't going to do shit. So it's like an out for everything. You just attack it, and if they don't have a way to like negate that effect, it's gone. And then we play, another card people cry and bitch about, Shaddoll Winda. Which
there's a kaiju for that too.
Yeah, you better have the kaiju when that shit gets dropped. It's got the graveyard add back effect as well. And I'm not even going to explain what this card does. If you don't know what this card does, just go look it up. Pause the video, go look that shit up, and come back and comment what you think about it.
People legitimately quit over this card. It's so retarded.
Yeah, people want it at 1 so bad. But we're playing it at 2. 3 would be nice, but the extra deck is so tight on this deck, so 2 is fine. Alright, and we also play 2 El Shaddoll Aqualones, which is another insane card, because...
Do you ever call it Al Capone?
No, I don't do that shit. I just call it what it's called.
I feel like I'm the one person who does that.
Nah, everybody does that. And some people don't even realize that's not how you say it. But, yeah, when it's special summon, it just negates a card on the field forever until they like find a way to recycle it, get it engraved, bring it back, or activate a new one. So that's really busted. And then also, as we went over earlier, when this is sent to the grave, it you can add a card from deck, and then you discard one. So it's just stupid. You can add Schism or whatever the hell you need to add. There's a combo with this and Reschedule that's super good. Because, like I said, if you send Windy, you can manipulate the Shaddoll card.
Oh, yeah.
It's brutal. Alright, so that wraps it up for the Shaddoll extra deck monsters. Now we'll go to the Invoked package, which everything's a one of. But Invoked Macabre. Another thing you should know what it does, because it just, if they activate something, it just negates and banishes, and you have to discard for cost a card that's like of the same type. So if they activate a spell, you just discard a spell and it banishes the spell, which banishing can be freaking brutal these days in the modern game. So super good, and it's also Alistair makes this card with one card.
If you had the space, would you play 2?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, some people still do. I like everything I play so much.
All right.
That I would play it 3 if I had the space.
Like anytime I play it in any deck, I usually play 2.
Yeah,
personally.
it's super good. And you can also cheese it out with Cyber Dragon Nova.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Dude, you remember when everyone was doing the Dogmatica? I think it was like Maximus.
Yep. Yeah.
So like I was teching it. I was teching in the Nova and just summoning
and
that.
Then they make you send your shit, and you just get the free Macabre and fucks up their whole
free
turn.
win right there.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. So that can be a problem. Also, it's a 1-card combo from Alistair. So if you draw like a Shaddoll combo and Alistair, and you set up the Macabre first, you can be unhand trappable once because you have the negate, if you have that many resources in hand, which it's come up and it works. And then next we play Invoked Ragin, which is Book of Moon on legs. So which you can also use since it's a quick effect. You can also manipulate your Shaddolls with that because they all have flip effects. So it's just another card. That's what's so great about this deck. Every card just works so freaking well together. It's insane. But yeah, this is an insane deck for sure.
I miss the days when everyone played Ragin as an instant fusion target. That was like the greatest thing.
And also, with all that Tri-Brigade fuckery, the wind monsters are about. So, it's a super poly target. Like, you're playing with somebody with like a wind deck and you have Alistair on field and you activate super poly, like, what are you going to make with that? Bitch, you finna see what I'm about to make with that.
Super poly that fucking barrier statue. Get that shit out of here.
Yeah, for sure. So that's a really good card.
Unless you're me, I just kaiju with the wind kaiju.
For sure. So then we play Invoke Kaliga, which is straight up cancer as well. Everything's cancer in this deck. If you have this on the field, which is Alistair and a dark monster, they can only activate 1 monster effect and they can only attack with 1 monster. So
you ever get that out with Wendy, get the Wombo combo?
Oh yeah.
Dude, that is still like the most insane boards.
Yeah. So and then it says it says attempt to activate. I'm gonna read it specifically, but it says if a player's monster effect attempts to activate, none of that players can activate their effects for the rest of this turn while this card is face up on the field. So if they attempt to activate a monster effect and you ash it, that counts as their 1 effect. Like if you negate it, they're just fucked. So it's super good. And that's also some cancer ability with Macabre, because you can have this in Macabre and they activate something and you just negate it with Macabre and they can't play anymore. So that's super good as well.
Oh man.
And then my boy Rick put me on this card. This is insane. Purgatrio. So it gains 200 attack for every. It's the fire one as well. This is what you're going to use.
Were you not playing Purgatrio?
Hell no, bro. A lot of people don't.
What the fuck, bro?
Yeah, a lot of people don't. And then I had it done to me, and I put my shit in immediately. I was playing another super poly target. I was playing Predaplant Dragos Stapelia.
Bro.
Yeah, I know.
I'm so disappointed in you right now.
I had to play it.
As like someone who's been playing Invoke for years.
Yeah.
Like
it's super good, and it can help you push for game. And with how popular Ash is, also Tri-Brigade, they have that Tri-Brigade kit. That's a fire.
Oh yeah.
So one of their links might be, I don't know.
I think their links are, I think light nerf, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, and I think there's a win one. I don't know.
But I don't pay much attention to it.
They're always gonna have kit too, so that can be used to make this. So this gains 200 attack for every card your opponent controls, which is really, really good because they're going to control 27 things if you go second. And you can, and it can attack every monster your opponent controls once. And it does piercing. So this card's insane busted. And then if we go back to Alistair, you can discard Alistair and make it gain 1,000. So let's say they have 5 cards on board, it gains 1,000, so it'll be a 33. Then you go attack something, damage step, Alistair discard, 43, and it's for the rest of the turn. So it can just keep whooping ass. It can OTK the shit out of somebody.
It's so good.
Yeah, it is super good. And then this is a card I want to play it too, but I haven't figured out what the hell to drop. Invoked Shaddoll. I think that's how you say that. But
I think it's like I always said like Aglades or something like that.
Yeah, this shit is fucking insane.
Oh, yeah.
It's Alistair and a fusion, which that's a super poly target. If they're playing fusions or you want to use one of your own, it's stupid. You can banish a fusion from your grave and it gains the attack until the end of your opponent's turn. So you do it on yours, it keeps the attack. And also, when it's special summoned, you can pop a monster your opponent controls, and if they special something to their side of the field, you can pop a card they control. So super OP card. I definitely play 2 of them. This is another. These 2 right here are your power cards for like when you're pushing for game for sure. And then we play 1 super poly target, the best super poly target in the game, Starving Venom.
Probably always will be the best super poly target.
As we mentioned earlier, everything in this game is a freaking dark monster. So I've actually won a handful of games because like people will leave like Predaplant and Dragoon on the board, and that's a free Starving Venom if you have super poly.
People are so stupid with that.
Yeah, and then you can OTK them because this is 2800, and then like if you're playing Eldritch or whatever, you can just like resummon it and beat the shit out of him. And it also, if it's destroyed, it destroys all special summon monsters your opponent controls. And you can catch a lot of people lacking with that. Like, they'll just be like, oh, I'll just pop it. And like, all right, well, all your stuff's destroyed. Don't let them take it back either, because that's what the card does. So, yeah, it's literally mine. And it copies. It does something else crazy. I've had to read it a few times I've used it.
Copies a effect.
Yeah, that's insane as well. So, whenever I'm backed into a corner and I summon Starving Venom, that's when I start reading that effect, because it has come up. I haven't memorized it because it doesn't come up that much. But it's got this really weird effect you guys can check out where it copies a card. Alright, so that's it for fusions, which is damn near the whole deck. But it's alright. We have 3 links we play as well.
You ain't fusing, you losing.
That's right. Fusions are busted. So we play the link 1, Artemis, which is, you use, it's any spellcaster level 4 or lower, but you're mainly going to be using this for Alistair. It has come up with Shaddolls, though, where you have to make it with a Shaddoll. But it's literally the effect does not matter. Like, I couldn't even tell you what that card actually does. It's just used for to get the Alistair engrave and a light target for either Shaddolls or your 1 card Mechaba, whatever you need to do. So super good. That's why it's like $12. And then Anaconda. So, alright, we're not playing the Dragoon fuckery, but you can still send Super Poly off this, which is insane. And we send any of the, like, Shaddoll Fusion, Super Poly, Shaddoll Fusion. So this is a powerhouse. It comes up. And if they have an extra deck monster on the field, you send Shaddoll Fusion, you can fuse from deck. Like, it's just, there's so many uses for it in here. If it gets banned, it won't matter, though, because I actually don't lean on this too much. Like, this would be another spot for a card I wanted to play that I mentioned earlier, like another Aguades or another Mechaba. So, yeah, it's good. It works really well. It's a super broken card. It probably needs to be banned, honestly. And then Gravity Controller, which I think it only has 1 printing, and it's common. But you use it with a non-link monster that's in the extra monster zone. So if you want to take advantage of your Shaddoll grave effects to get spells out of the grave, or like earlier when I explained the construct, you summon it in the extra monster zone. It's just a way to send that to the grave, and then you just grab your spell back. And also, if you manage to get a construct without summoning, which is easy, especially because we're playing 4 gammas, you can have this set after you do your construct play. So you'll have that, and then you'll have like Shaddoll Fusion, the quick play, and then you'll have Schism set that you got off the construct. So you'll have like Schism set here, Shaddoll here, then you just set one of your Shaddolls. So now you have like 2 interruptions you can do. You can use the Shaddoll to make these into a Winda, and then you'll have your Schism to make into a App Clone, which can negate a card, and Schism will send it. So that's super busted. Bad spot for your opponent to be in. So that wraps it up for the extra deck. And now we're going to go over the side. This side is kind of just thrown together out of shit that I know where it's at, so you have to bear with me on that, but I have a reason for playing all these cards. So,
and guys, like I say, with side decks, Make the side deck to counter your local.
1000%. All right. So if I had 3 kaijus, I only own 1 kaiju, and it's in the Cyber Dragon deck. But if I had 3 kaijus, I'd play them because, like Casey always says, they are super freaking good, and they work in any deck.
You know, it's because I've been making kaiju jokes this whole time, but I'm not even kidding. Like, people legitimately get pissed off because I somehow magically keep opening them all the time.
Oh, you play 27 of them.
I mean,
for starters, and then Kaiju Slumber.
True. I mean, you get the idea.
But that's why kaijus are expensive now because of how damn good they are. They used to be cheap, but they're super good. And
I remember when Gardala was like $1.
Yeah. Oh god, that's the best one.
Now she's 15.
Yeah, that's easily one of the better ones. All right. So for starters, we play Lancia because of Tri-Brigade. And we also have a handful of dino decks, which obviously this is just straight nuts on dinos. So they
even with Miscat 1, we still got dino players here.
There's a handful of them still. So it is much better now that Misk is at 1. That deck had too much gas with Misk at 3. But and then
Blake's still playing it.
Yeah, he plays that for sure. And then it can also hit other weird decks. It hits Eldritch. In my opinion, it's not worth putting in against Eldritch, but I mean, I played Eldritch for a long time, and that shit never hurt me. There's never been a time where I was like, oh, I got Lancia, so I can't do that. But especially if they shotgun it, and it's like I wasn't even planning on getting anything in the grave this turn, but that's fine. So we have the 3 Lancia. It's also a light target, so it helps with your construct plays. And then this card. Oh man, this is another one I said I dropped in the Cyber Dragon deck, but I was 1000% wrong. This card, Evenly Matched, is so freaking busted.
Dude, Evenly Matched is literally a blowout card.
Dude, this card is freaking insane. It's hard to negate a trap. They have to have like Solemn Judgment or something, or like an Omni Negate. So what made me play this was we played the Dawn of Majesty 3v3 tournament. And I was playing Zombie World Eldritch, which we're still going to do a profile on that for sure. And I won the night before I was making my list, and I was like, I really should put Evenly Matched in, but I decided against it. And literally round 2, I made the best board I had ever made with the zombie deck. And the dude's just like, all right, say my main. I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, attempt to end main. And I knew it was coming. And it literally, it just auto lost me the game. Like, woo! I just immediately lost. Like, I lost an Eldritch, I lost Doom King. I don't know, I kept my 1 Eldritch. I lost my traps. Like, I lost literally everything. And it was because I didn't have the Golden Land Forever set, which is like the solemn card for the zombies. But it's just, it's so good. Like
it sucks getting evenly matched, bro.
Yeah, and also it works so good against back row. Like you have a lot of decks that are like set 5 pass, and with the new cross out designator bullshit that's coming out, back row's coming back. The game's about to slow down for sure. So get your copies now, in my opinion.
Dude, you play against back row deck, you evenly match, you win.
Yeah,
that's pretty much how it is.
Yeah, and you can hit them for like all kinds of good shit too, for sure. Next we have more back row removal. Cosmic Cyclone, which I choose this over Twin Twisters and all that shit because it's quick play. Well, actually, is Twin Twisters quick play?
I think it is.
I just go with Cyclone because that's what I have that I know where it's at. I mean, I have Twin Twisters in bulk, but you can play whatever you want. I like it because it's a quick play, and it's essentially free. You have to pay 1,000 life points for it, but that only really matters in time. And since it's in the side deck, you just wouldn't put that shit in. You could even main deck this if you have like a crazy back row heavy locals. Just main deck it. Super good. And like they activate a continuous. Like this shit's on Schism. So if you're playing against this deck and they activate Schism and you have this, definitely fire that bitch off. Banish it. You're done with it. They're not gonna play with Schism. So and Sky Striker Engage. That fuckery. Chain Cyclone to that. Banish their 1 engage. Yep. They can't play. Like it's just the banish part is really 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 good. Alright, and next up, 3 Infinite Impermanents. That's because, like I said earlier, there's some situations where Droplets is better. Where this is better than Droplets and vice versa. So, like I said earlier, we're going with Droplets in the main just because, it works for the graveyard stuff. But Imperm can be super good. A single Imperm can end a whole turn. So, especially going first, it's a really good card. And then finally for the side, we talked about this earlier as well. Droll, the decks that Ash hurts, Droll doesn't do anything, and then the crazy decks that just add a billion times, we side the Drolls.
I love Droll.
Yeah, It's cracked. I love seeing draw. Like, if you're playing Drytron and they, like, win the dice roll, it's like, oh, motherfucker. Like, you know you're going to deal with, like, 27,000 negates. And then you get your Pringle Gold Rare Droll that's always cut to the top, and it's like, yes, sir, let's go.
Konami, can we get a reprint of this art specifically, please? Because I do like it, I'm not going to lie. Like, it's not, the artwork's not bad.
Yeah, oh, and if you draw two, one weird thing is, this might be common knowledge, but I didn't know it. So I seen somebody Droll, and then the opponent called by the grave the Droll, and they had the second one, they chained it. And since they chain it, it still goes off. And
Yep.
What's the other deck this hurts really? Dragon Link. So Drytron and Dragon Link, this just straight shits on, which is really good. But yeah, and usually I'll take out Ash for that because, like I said earlier, it's one or the other.
Yeah, it's usually there's never really a time when both are just good.
The only time both really matters is if you're playing with a deck that either adds to hand a lot, or and can just play by sending shit to grave. Like,
yeah. Then
you would play both. I've never been in a situation where that's a thing. So
even though Droll right now is kind of worse, I like if I'm main decking a hand trap, I still like to play Droll over Ash just because, like, I personally just like Droll more.
Right.
Because when it hits hard, whereas Ash, there's a lot of times still where people just end up playing around it.
Right, for sure.
You have to be super specific when you hit.
This is another thing, like I said, where Ash hurts more than Droll would be this deck even. So if they have Droll, they're gonna fire it off on Meltdown.
Yep.
Which only turns off half your deck. You still, well, actually less than half. You still have an entire Shaddoll engine to go, which doesn't really add because all your stuff that you're taking from deck is going to grave. So you can still play around Droll with just the Shaddoll engine, and it's still super good. Versus like an Ash, where if you have nothing, or if you have like a Meltdown and they Ash it, and you have Alistair, or that you don't have Alistair, it's the same thing, but Ash would hurt worse for sure because they can stop the sent to grave stuff.
Yeah.
So, and God, you can Ash Shaddoll Fusion, which is stupid. That hurts so bad, but that's a well-known secret. We don't tell people about that. So yeah, if you don't get that, and you can do it under Meltdown too, which is even crazier. But yeah, that's gonna be it. That's the deck right now. So I'm gonna upgrade it soon with some more stuff. We might have an update. I got some stuff in the mail coming.
All right. Yeah. So.
Oh, and Droll's a wind for your rage in place if you have to. Yeah. So this deck just abuses hand traps like a motherfucker. So
Steven, anything you want to say?
Give this a shot. I mean, I'm sure you probably already have, or you know about it, or if you're a new player and this is what you're picking up, it's really, really, really good. It could get hit. Meltdown could get hit.
I don't know.
I don't see it getting hit.
I don't see Meltdown getting hit. I honestly don't really see anything for Shaddoll's really getting hit either.
Yeah. Well, this isn't super represented, and you can't hit Schism to 1 because everyone plays it at 1, and you can't ban it because then the deck would just be total trash.
Well, I mean, it's definitely not meta, but it's more like high-end rogue, I feel.
Right. Now you throw the Dogmatica package in here, and it's meta as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
But they could ban the Deer Servant. Who knows? Let's hope not, because, your boy just caught some.
I feel like it's doing well, but not well enough to warrant getting hit.
Same. In my opinion, same. And it's got all these reprints coming in 10s. They reprinted the whole goddamn deck in the 10.
Exactly.
So
There's going to be someone in the comments.
Maybe that'll get you some views. Because people are looking into picking up Shaddolls now that every single card got a variable.
There's going to be someone in the comments, too, saying, we're retarded. This deck needs to get hit.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's because they lose to it.
Exactly.
If you can't beat it, join it. If it's so good, buy it and play it. That's what I say.
Alright, guys. So, thank y'all so much for watching this video. If y'all liked it, go ahead and harpoon that like button, harpoon that subscribe button for more awesome content.
Oh yeah,
commenting
catch type beat.
Commenting comments, y'all got one, just want to put down there, whatever, and
talk some shit in the comments.
Oh, hell
do your thing.
People pissed.
Yeah,
this deck needs to get hit. And link in the description down below to my Instagram if y'all want to check that out. And we will see y'all in the next video, guys.
Yep.